Well, let's get it started. We're going to go straight into it. Going to go through every tactic for you today. We're not going to explain what each one does. I've already made videos on that. So my defensive formation, 4-2-3-1, second variation. I'm still using counter for this one, and I've got like this. No box crashes here because this is purely my defensive formation. I have won them on deep line playmaker defend, won them on build up. I may change this, but this is kind of what I like now. I'm not struggling too much for defending. I'm gonna look. Everyone can see his goals. Even I can see someone's get 3 goals, but I'm scoring like 5, 6. It's not too much of an issue for me. I always just like, as I mentioned from last year, it's like one player sitting a bit higher, but you can put them both on deep line playmaker defend, fullback defend, and of course inside the 4 for the left mid, right mid, and the cams on playmaker because of course being a bit more defensive. Again, this is purely the formation to maybe close out the win. Let's say I'm winning 2-1, or let's say it's 3-1. In this game, anyone can still come back from being 2-3-0 down, but at least this way, I know that I'm not over committing players going forward. If I lose the ball in a transition, I've got my 2 DMs staying in the middle, protecting the defensive line, and that is what I want. I want my defensive line to be in shape, no fullback going forward, keeping it simple. Then we go over to the 4-2-1-3. So just very, very quickly, the difference between this formation, the only difference is left wings and right wings, okay? Apart from that, the formations are basically identical. No matter what anyone else tells you, no matter what fairy tale they're painting, like this is somehow amazingly better than this one, absolute nonsense. The exact same structure, just that you have left wings and right wings. Now, I personally like left wings and right wings a bit more. So I personally use the 4-2-1-3 a lot more. I feel like the 4-2-3-1 second variation is more reserved for the, when you go into a sweaty game. We've got counter for the build-up stuff. We've got 45 as well. So they're both very similar. They're basically identical systems here. Look, unless you're using inside forward roaming, which is probably one of the only benefits that you do get for left wings and right wings. Remember, you don't get that for the 4-2-3-1 second variation. Only for the left wings and right wings, that option is there, where they basically stay forward. They don't come back defensively. Then there's no point using this formation. But they're both very good. I mean, look, to be honest, I think because of the way the wingers are positioned, people will be more favored to use this formation. Like as I told you before the game came out, it's going to be up there. There's nothing we can do about it. I can't pretend that there's other formations better than this. These two are probably the two most meta formations right now inside the game. But I use this one because it's a bit more defensive. Left mid and right mids, inside forwards, they come back and help you a bit more defensively. But you could always make these players wingers actually, and they defend even more. Actually, you can have the most defensive option of it here, by the way, where you can use a wide midfield to defend. Now, personally, I don't like this, but let's say you're sitting there and you want to be ultra defensive, you could do something like this. So again, remember, change it for your own playstyle. Mine is a template. I'm sure there's going to be people that's probably going to be like pro players are watching this, and maybe someone that's probably weaker than me. It doesn't, maybe like a Division 5 player. It's not even anywhere near elite right now. You got to be careful. You got to be mindful of what you change. But anyway, with this one, I've got it identical. The only thing I've done here is I put the cam on Shadow Striker, and I got one of the CDMs on Box Crusher. In every 2 CDM formations, which for me is either balanced or attacking, my Box Crusher is always going to be my LDM or my right DM. So in every formation, I'm going to repeat this again, where I have a 4-2-1-3, a 4-2-3-1, 4-2-3-1 second variation, whatever, 4-4-2 second variation. And if it's an attacking or balanced formation, I'm always going to use a Box Crusher. So the only difference between these two here, realistically, is that now I've got 2 players joining the attack. So where I would use this is, let's say this formation, we'll have to go back again quickly and do this quickly. But let's say, for example, inside forward. This is why I don't like to explain too much in these videos. Just try to get straight to tactics. But anyway, I have this one. Let's say I can't break through, or let's say my opponent's got 2 CDMs and I need that extra CDM during the attack, or I need that cam as a Shadow Striker. Because let's say my opponent I'm versing, it's a good player. They're not running out with their centre back. It's not running out like some Division 4 player. They're playing like a top tier player. I got to be smart. So that's why I put Shadow Striker on the cam for more attacking options, and I got a Box Crusher. Again, fullbacks on defend. As I explained yesterday, no need for them to go forward, and that is how it's going to be. So those are 2 formations I'm going to be floating around the most. And then we'll have the 4-4-1-1. As I've already mentioned to you, this is going to be more attacking. I give these car examples to make it a bit more friendly, but the no BS is, if you're crap at the game, you're not going to be good at the game. This formation you're going to struggle with. Just got to tell you flat. But with this system, the benefit is you have center mids. They sit higher than CDMs. When center mids sit higher, it allows you to press the ball quicker. So where I use this formation normally is, if I'm trying to attack, I probably still stay with a 4-2-1-3. And maybe like last year, I probably go to the more 4-4-2s and 4-4-1-1s. I'm actually staying a lot more on a 4-2-1-3. But let's say, for example, I am down, let's say 1 or 2 goals, and my opponent is of that caliber where they're holding the ball. Because what's happening on the elite level, you're probably not seeing it now in the lower divisions. It probably sprinkle down as time goes on, but what you're going to find is it's becoming a possession game, holding the ball, not losing the ball, because every time you lose the ball, it's a counter attack. So the key is holding possession. So the 4-4-1-1 center mids, they sit higher. It's easier for you to press the ball. We've got the shadow strikers still. We've got 2 center mids box to box. Again, quite risky. You can always put one of these players not holding if you really struggle with this. But I'm liking 2 box to boxes right now. It gives me the attacking options. If I need to go defensive, I'm just going to the more defensive formation anyway. Then the left mid and right mid, I'm using a bit of both. Manny Bashir used this last year as being the world champion. He won the world championship twice in a row. If I add that in, bearing in mind, he had 1 on a wing or 1 inside forward. You know what? I'm liking this more and more. The reason why is the left mid, I attack naturally a bit more down the right-hand side. So that's why I always, if you notice, I have a box crasher always on the left CDM. Because I'm attacking down the right-hand side, I want the box crasher to basically come in on the opposite side when I rotate the ball. So let's say I rotate the ball backwards, that last-minute box crasher is going to make that last-minute run, so I can play that through ball. And the way I'm using rating on my left mid, on my main account, I have a Kvaratskhelia there. I'm using basically player lock. So I'm basically player locking with that player, so I prefer them to be wider. I got the fullbacks on balanced here, nothing too aggressive, just fullbacks balanced. And the build-up style I've got on balance as well, not counter. And then the depth I've got on 50. Now, you could probably edge all the way up to 60. I would say don't go 61 unless you know what you're doing. Because I don't want to go to a pressing state. I'd rather press the ball manually and then go to a pressing state when I'm losing. So this is what I'd recommend for, let's say, okay, so you have this one to close the game out per se, right? The defensive one. You got this one for the balance of the game. Maybe you start the game with. But let's say up against someone, you're 1 or 2 goals down. Or let's say, for example, you need a bit more superiority in midfield. Or maybe your opponent has 1 CDM. Or let's say, for example, you need these center mids to join the attack, which you won't understand. When you play against a better player and you realize some of those games where you finish like 1-1 or not 1-1, but like let's say a 3-3, that's a good example of someone that's at equal level as you. Those, when I need those extra center mids, I need that extra player, I can always have them closer to rotate the ball. So that's what I'm using. You can always use the build-up style counter is what I'd recommend for most people, but I'm using balanced on it, personally speaking. And you can use a defensive approach on high, but me personally, I've gone with balanced. I would rather control the game myself and apply team press, offside trap, teammate contain. I know some of you guys realistically relying on AI to do that for you. That's fine. You can have that differently. We're going to have a video basically coming on my top 5 tips, attacking tips. Stay tuned. That should be uploaded today. Actually, I'm actually getting late. I need to actually get ready, have a shower, shave, and I'm actually going to a wedding right now. So I won't even get time to play FUT Champions until Sunday when I'm back. But for the pressing formation, this is the one where, for example, I'm losing, okay? And let's say, for example, they're wasting time. Again, they're wasting time. Not that I can't score. They're wasting time. Then I'm going with the 4-2-4. The argument is this year that the 4-4-2 second variation is actually better than the 4-2-4. But because you have center mids as opposed to CDMs, sorry, center mids as opposed to CDMs, center mids sit higher, so it's easier for you to press the ball. So I'm going with a high depth. I'm going 70. I'm not really going towards 95, not yet, not this early in the year. I don't even think it's that effective. I think high is really the go-to for playing aggressive. But the build-up style we got on counter, I've not released this formation yet, but it's the same one I'm using from last year. I just made some minor changes here. So I got the inside forward and right wing and left wing. 1 striker on poacher, 1 advanced forward, 2 attacking movements. And then I've got both of them on playmaker. I think maybe this is probably a bit too attacking. Cascarino will get subbed off here normally for like a centre mid. But I could always go here with a deep line playmaker, or I would say 1 box to box. We've got the fullbacks on defend. Because I got 2 center mids joining the attack, I don't want to get caught with my back 4. Look, the worst thing to be is 3-0 down and then it's 4-0. Then you're basically running into, it might be game over territory. Up against a really good player that can hold the ball and starts heading it back to the goalkeeper. Let's not get into that nonsense. But it's possible that it could be lights out, even if it's easy to score goals. With someone, as I said to you, look, you will see, not now, but when you get towards the elite division, my main account is possession hoarding. That's basically what it is. But that's the formation I'm using when I'm losing. and I need to get the ball back. Now, you can see I don't have any of the 2 striker formations. And the reason is because I've got a shadow striker. A shadow striker is basically like a second striker. It's kind of like I used to play a stay forward on my cams. So to be honest, I don't need 2 strikers. So any of my attacking formations, I'm always going for a shadow. Look, you would know if you used shadow striker before, you would know what I'm talking about. But that is basic tactical up. You know, to be honest, I think if you're watching this video now, this tactical layout probably lasts you for the entire year. And that's why I wanted to make this first video the real good one. Because I think, genuinely speaking, all these in fact, I'll guarantee you, every single formation tactic you'll see here will last until the end of the game. Unless there's some insane patch that comes out that changes gameplay completely, I can very much assure you these would be the main formations. There's still some other ones like the 4-2-3-1, and maybe some 5 backs, which we'll get onto another day. But these are the main formations that I think are like the creme de la creme formations right now inside the game. And that's pretty much it. I'm literally getting late and I'm going to run off. I made a second video. The video will be coming out later on today. But if you want to get better at F26, come join my Patreon series, patreon.com/nil guides. If you don't get better after 1 month, we will refund your money. We've got the meta mechanic. Let's say you're watching this, you're like, Nil, I just want to get those easy wins in a weekend league. We've got the meta mechanics that you can be using right now that pro players are using to improve their game. And get those extra wins, because at the end of the day, let's be honest, people just want to get wins. That's for the people that want to abuse the game. If you want to learn FC properly, the way that I teach you, the basics of the game, people keep saying defending has changed. Well, if you learned the way that I taught you, defending hasn't changed for the past 10 years. People have been using advanced defender, relying on bruiser. Yeah, they're crying now. That's what I told you. Never, ever join that nonsense. Focus on the key of defending, positioning, run and jockey, the basics. It's the same every single year, but we've got the Division 10 to Elite Division series from last year, and we've got an FC26 school. We've got the defending videos, defending speed, and we've got the positioning video. This video will help you quite a lot in terms of positioning. And of course, we have all the other videos, real life football examples of squad builders, other videos. We've got so many videos for FC26. We've got all the roles and tactics, and we've got other videos as well. Like we got some defending videos, how to less dribble, we went over impacts gameplay, and some other examples as well that we added in over here. And of course, all of last year, let's say like, no. Let's say you joined the Patreon already, and let's say, for example, you joined last year and you're like, Neil, you know, I've already watched some of your videos. You should be watching in order, but let's say, for example, you've already watched all the videos. We still had the videos from last year. In fact, you know what you can probably do? You could go ahead and look at any video from any year. And then remember, if you're part of the Patreon, FIFA.school, in your link, and you'll get a link to all the YouTube videos. And you can see, look here, manual jockey. How do I defend? All the jockey methods. That's an left stick control, analog sprint, run and jockey. Same thing every year. How to build up, struggling with shooting, how to score inside the box, show the passing, how to do advanced triggers, how to abuse the game position lob passes, how to never lose the ball, how to build up from defense. Everything is there. And if you want to see a documentary series, that's an actual 3-hour documentary on how to press like a proper elite player, all of it is down below. Anyway, don't forget, don't get better after 1 month. We will refund your money. It's no guys guarantee. Links down below in the description. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'll see you for today at 7 p.m. for a video on how to attack. Peace.